we have right here is a fairly common problem. What I'm going to do for you today, free of charge, I'm going to take this situation and make it new. Boy, that is rotten. Trust me on this. Bad news is I'm not going to have enough cedar. I'm going to have to do a second part. And be a nice little place to sit in the afternoon, and we'll finish this thing up. Started on these steps a few days ago, and I have run out of cedar. I've got some cedar left. I'm not going to have enough cedar for the toe boards and for the tread steps and to finish all this out. So we're going to go to the sawmill and make us a few more cedar boards. If you hadn't checked out the video of cutting these stringers and replacing the joists and stuff of this porch, I encourage you to go back and look at that. Found this beauty here laying on the yard. It's not going to make all the boards that I need, but it's a start. So let's get this milled up and see how many boards it'll make. I think it's about 9-10 inches at the small end. Well, 3 boards obviously is not going to get it. However, I have a plan. Well, I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got plenty, and I'm thinking about using 1-bys for the nose boards. All right, we'll get these back to the step project and get that thing finished up. And I got one more log just in case I need to get a little more. Well, good morning. I was thinking before I got out here this morning, you know, there's not many things in the world that's more fun for a carpenter that gets his blood flowing than building stuff. I'm gonna get these floorboards down up here, and then we'll start putting the treads on the steps, the nose boards on those. All right, enough yapping, gotta get to work. Now, could I be cutting these with a chop saw or miter saw? Yeah, absolutely. But I've got so little to cut here, time-wise, take me longer to get the saw out than it would be to just cut these few pieces. So I've got a little situation here where I need to notch this around the gutter. Two ways you could do this. You could take your tape measure and just measure it, or when you've got a situation like this, you can just lay your board up here and mark it, and then you can slide that right there to know how much to bring it. If I take out that much, we're going to be perfect. Now, how's the fella going to cut this little notch out of here? Well, this cedar happens to be pretty straight grain, and because I'm not building kitchen cabinets here, if it's not an absolute perfect straight line, it doesn't matter because it's going up against that downspout. So I'm going to take this out. I went a little deeper on the bottom side than the top side, and now I could take a chisel and just chisel it right there. But I'm thinking that if I just give that a little tap right there, it's going to break off from here to there. Let's see if it does. There we go. Now, you can't do that with every species of wood, but with this one, yeah, it worked fine. Let's go see if it fits. Just like we wanted it. Now, what I'm using for fasteners, these are outdoor screws. Ideal for decking and exterior projects. And they got this little, I don't know what you call that, hex head or something. Can you see that? Get out here in the sun. Them's so much better than Phillips. If you got Phillips screws, don't ever buy any more. Just get set of them. But that's a good fastener right there. Well, I'm gonna tell on myself. I was putting a screw, just one screw in here to hold these in place till I get ready to screw them all up. And this one here split. I'm gonna pre-drill these end holes because the material's drier than I thought. Now, I don't want to waste this whole board, and I'm not going to. I could use it down there, but I think it's probably going to work out if I use it over there. So I'm going to take this one up, replace it, and then see. But I can use it. It just can't be used here.
Float my way across the great divide and be buried in you. I've been looking far and wide for what I gotta prove, and putting peaks in my rear view. Well, it's colder here than anyone told me the South could get, and I took to staying up real late and smoking cigarettes.
All right, let me show you how I marked this. The simplest way, quickest way. All right, I'm gonna put about that much gap in it right there. So I'm gonna mark that right there. That's gonna cut that part off. And then to get my length, I'm gonna cut that right there. Take my pocket square. Now cut this out, and it ought to fit perfectly. Now please forgive me, I don't want to insult your intelligence. If you already know all this stuff, then great. But there are people that don't know it, okay? And this is for them. I've got a notch here that I want to cut, and perhaps you don't have a jigsaw or a bandsaw. Oh, you have a circular saw. You can make this cut perfectly. I'm going to show you how. Now this is the face side. All right, this is what shows. Let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the circular saw and I'm going to cut right to that point, and then I'm going to come over here and cut right to that point. I'm not going to go beyond that point. Okay, you see that? I've come right to that point and right to that point. Well, there's still some wood down there. So now what I want to do is flip this over, okay? Making sure that I stay as close as I can into that straight line. And from experience, I know that if I go about an inch past where that cut is, I might have went just a hair too far. And then when you flip that over, you got that perfect cut right there on the face side, what's going to show. So when we bring this piece up here, it fits perfectly where we wanted it on the post. That's a good thing. just for a bit of review now, how to work around these posts. Just set your board up here, and that gives you your width, how much you're going to take out. And then when you lay it in place where it's going to go, and you mark that, well, if I take that little bit of wood out, when it sits right there, it ought to be perfect. Again, this is the face side. This is the side that's up that you're going to see. So that's the side that I don't want to go past, that little corner right there. Okay, so I got that. Stopped at the corner. And I'll just flip it over, and you see what it looks like over here. I'll just run my blade up a little bit past that. You can actually feel it when it falls off, and that gives you your perfect corner. It's just like we wanted it. Float my way across the great divide and be buried in you. I've been looking for. So here's what your steps will sort of look like when you get your nose boards on, getting ready to put your treads on. Let's get some treads cut, and this project will be done. Cheap tobacco burns the way that bridge between us did, and I'm left looking at the glowing ends. But am I too far gone? So there we go, guys, with a little bit of work and fortunately a sawmill, we was able to tear out the old, boy that is rotten, and put in the new. Now this cedar is probably good for a minimum of 25 years. Yeah, I think this is going to work. Float my way across the great divide and be buried in you. I've been looking far and wide for what I gotta prove, and putting peaks in my rear view. Well, it's colder here than anyone told me the South could get, and I took to staying up real late.